Colorado suffers another beatdown. We're going to talk about it here on The Scoop with Dukes. Welcome to The Scoop with Dukes. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, a.k.a. Dukes the Scoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Dukes the Scoop. And please be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. This episode is brought to you, as always, by International Voice. They got this dope brown and orange Cleveland Brown style sweatshirt that says Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the light. They've got great inspirational messages over their products. Go check the link in the description, and you can order. Great prices on sweatshirts. They got mugs. They got a lot of stuff. Great inspirational gear. 52-17. Colorado on the losing side of 52-17. Okay. Arizona, um, Arizona is a good team this year. Arizona ain't a 52-17 point team to lose to on paper, but you are what the score says, and you are what your record says. Okay. All right. This is one of the most inexplicable runs that I've seen in a long time from a college football team that is this talented. Two hapless outings. You give up 50 points in back-to-back weeks. You got a talented roster. I'm talking to other coaches in the country that Colorado beat out for some of these players in the transfer portal, and they're trying to figure it out as well. A lot of that no telling where you'll see me at as far as football wise. And this weekend I got to watch. What I went to Arkansas, Mississippi State this weekend. Got to watch the game with some NFL scouts in the press box. That was cool. Shout out to Kyle P out there, Arkansas. But of course, people know that I have relationships at different places, and Colorado always comes up. And that what's going on is what happens, and or the question I'm asked, and I don't know. NFL talent, and the NFL guys know there's talent there because they scouted. They're at practice. They're just trying to figure out what's not happening between Monday and Friday and the disconnect that happens on Saturday. I would love to have an answer for what is going on or why it's happening, but I don't have an answer for that. I'm not going to act like I'm not going to act like it's a simple fix because the things that are happening. Okay, cool. All right, so I think what's going on in Colorado is something that's intangible. I think there's a disconnect somewhere because on paper it's being handled the right way. You got NFL coaches. If you want to go to the league, why not start with NFL coaches? You got the greatest players of all time popping in and giving motivation and talking to these kids. You've got arguably the greatest athlete of all time as the head man. You've got marketing opportunities. You've got 4 and 5-star former blue chip prospects on the roster. You've got coordinators with NFL experience. You got guys who've done it at the college level. You've got support staff, recruiting departments, administrative staff with college, with plenty of big SEC experience, right? You've got a program that's grateful for being brought out of the 1-11 times, right? You've got a lot going for this program. You got a lot going for this team. You got a, a, a quarterback prodigy, right? Nothing, nothing on this roster, or nothing when you look at it, nothing says back to back 50-point losses or give up 50 points in a hapless effort in back to back weeks to Utah and Arizona. Nothing says that. it got so weird. Even the stats this week don't say it. And what I mean by that is, if I were to tell you that Colorado would win the time of possession battle by 10 minutes, you probably and still lose by 35, giving up 50 points, and it really seemed like it could have gotten worse, you'd say I was crazy. You'd say, you know what, go on to mybookie.ag and just give them like go on there and pick a bet and let me do the opposite. Because you would have thought that I had no idea about football. And speaking of mybookie.ag, if you haven't already, use my code DSCOOP, DCOOP. Go put some money on one of your favorite teams and do it in a recreational way for sure. Be responsible. But yeah, you would have thought I was crazy, right? Well, that's what happened. You win well, we can look at a couple of these stats. We don't have to take long. I mean, I don't know, guys. And I know it's gonna be people that are gonna have all the answers, and this is why nobody knows, bro. Total yards, 417 yards for Arizona. I mean, you were outgained by 118 yards. That doesn't say 35-point blowout. 43 more yards passing. That doesn't say 35-point blowout. Even the disparity in the run game doesn't say 45-point blowout. First down's the same. That doesn't say 35-point blowout. Shoot, actually, the percentage on third downs is both at about 40%. Fourth downs, 1 out of 3. None of this said you ran 14 more plays than they did. Yeah, the sacks allowed, okay. More punts. Penalty yardage, definitely, right? And the timeliness of the penalties hurt you. This is a number, 5 turnovers. That's a number for you. And Arizona took those turnovers and did what they were supposed to do. Now, this is saying like Colorado, this is what you should have done against Georgia Tech, take advantage of the turnovers, and the season could be going different. But, you can't go back and say that. But the numbers just don't look crazy to the point where you would think 35-point blowout, game over in by the third quarter. Game over midway through the second quarter. When I clicked on it, I clicked off of it and clicked back on it and saw 38-7 and was like, something's wrong. This must be an old game. And it wasn't. All right, so when I went to Colorado earlier this year and got to hang out with everybody, and shout out to his family. So when I went to Colorado, hung out with Bucky for a while. Me and Bucky talking. Bucky said, feels different. It wasn't like he said, we're going to be sorry. It wasn't like he said, we're going to be great. He said, it feels different. And I think a lot of people forget about Bucky's football acumen, how much he's been around the game, how much he actually knows. Bucky was a damn good football player. So, and I just think the role that he's in, people forget that. But Bucky understood what something was different. I think you got to find that difference. You got to find that link. You got to find what's in there where the message isn't getting home the way that it has in the past. I mean, if Ray Lewis can't get you to go out here and run through a brick wall, that's got to be your ace in the hole. That's got to be the big joker. That's got to be the one. If you're playing joker, deuce, that's the color joker or the guarantee. If we're playing spades, right? Ray Lewis has, and I'm thinking it gives me hype. And still, the two brightest spots of the entire weekend in football was Shador coming to visit and Juju's first touchdown. That's it. So whatever it is, I think you've got a lot of things going for you at Colorado. Still, speaking to industry guys, this all feels like an aberration. It feels like a couple of players here, a couple of players there. And you're right back in the thick of it for the Big 12. But you got to find out why. And I don't know what it is, But I think Coach Prime said a lot when he did say, don't talk to the players, don't talk to the coordinators, talk to me. Talk to me. I did this. Something I'm doing is wrong. And I think there's a lot of soul searching. I think there's a lot of recollection that you have to go through and go find out what the answer is, because when you're talking to a winner, someone like Coach Prime who's won at every level, I don't expect for him to take this laying down. I've said it all year long. I said eventually a patient gonna wear thin. I don't know for who or for what, but something is going to change, because we all know the definition of insanity. How can you expect to do the same things and get different results, right? Doing the same thing, expecting different results is the true definition of insanity. So I think that's where Colorado goes next. I think they look at some of the fundamental practices. They look at, who's in charge of what players are being given a chance, what players haven't been given a chance, do more players need to be given a chance? And I think you start to kind of dig deeper and find out, okay, what's our issue here, right? And I think as that happens, I truly don't expect to see Colorado go out there and play another listless game. Like I just wouldn't say. I believe they would play all freshmen before they do that, right? But I think you'll definitely um, you'll see some things change for sure. That's the one thing and I don't know what the change could be, maybe, but it's very rare to see a roster this talented play so poorly on both sides of the ball in back-to-back games. You guys know I cover Auburn. Part of what happened in Auburn with Hugh Freeze losing his job was because you could see that the talent, you could see the visible talent, but on one side of the ball, it looked different than the other side. You could kind of pinpoint the problem. It's hard to pinpoint. It's hard to pinpoint the problem on this side. So on one side at all, it just looks like I think everyone is speechless. And I think you could see some things change. As far as I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be coaching. I don't know if it's gonna be players. I don't know if guys are gonna get dismissed. I don't know if guys are gonna be if you're gonna start more people who haven't played. I will say the discipline has decreased a little bit from how high it was at the beginning of the season. More penalties now. Before it was just not a ton of penalties for like a little, not a lot of yardage, but the penalties matter. Now it's like the penalties matter, and it's for a lot of yards. Some fundamental stuff like an eligible man down, like a receiver being deemed ineligible downfield. That's a formation. Somebody not asking the ref, "Hey, I'm on," not knowing where they're supposed to be, not asking the ref, and that negates a big play. So little stuff like that, and that's far from the total reason that this went this way, but it's one of the reasons. And I think you'll see some soul searching done in Colorado. And this is an open forum. You put down what you think. Drop it in. Hey, drop down the answer. But I always say when things go this poorly, it's more than one thing. And I think Colorado has to go find out what that difference is. All right, that's my time. I appreciate you guys. All right, for sure.